of product. So let's go to that production of product. Please, the best way to understand the SQL is to understand what these tables are about. If you understand the tables, what the tables are about, it will be a lot more easier for you to understand why things are happening this way. So if you go to the production of product table, you will notice that it is product sold or used in the manufacturing of sold product. Product sold or used. Okay, so this is what the table is. And you can see it has a lot of markers. So let's see, for example, every product has an ID, every product has a name, every product has a product number, every product has a make flag. Now, if you go to the database and really query this database, so I'm just going to query it from what we did yesterday. I'm just going to widely query it. All right, so I'm going to continue from where we stopped yesterday. We're trying to explain the case statement. Good. So let's imagine that we select from, let's say, human resources.employee. So this is the database of interest. All right, so we have tables. So we have production of products. Okay. Now, production of product is where we find things. Let me put an asterisk. I'm using asterisk because I want to query every column in the table. Okay. So this is basic understanding. And you can see all the information here. So let's see carefully. You could see name here, product ID, name, product number, make flag, finished goods, color, and a host of other things. Okay. All right. So you could see also some things are labeled in certain ways. Okay. Now let's imagine that your make flag, we are seeing 0 and 1. We are seeing finished product, finished goods, we are seeing 0, and we are also seeing some other numbers there. All right. We are seeing also, let's see. Give me a moment. Let me see. We are seeing product line. Just give me a moment. We're seeing product line. We're seeing null, and we're seeing some numbers M, arrow, and so on. So let me create a scenario. All right. You know, when we're learning this in the beginning, we could rename a column. Do you guys all remember that we can rename a column using an alias? So for example, under the production of products, I want to rename, just hold on, production of products. I want to rename, let's say, product ID. I want to have list price, and I want to have standard cost. Good. Do you all remember that we learned that we could use this to say as? We can rename the column. Do you guys all remember?
Yes, sir. I remember.
Good. So we can rename.
Yes, sir. Remember as. Yes, sir.
Remember.
All right. So we could rename columns, and we'll get an answer. So it means that when the result comes, it will no longer write its original name. It will give it any alias that we have asked it to be given. Okay, so we could have also product line. Let me just put the product line here. Okay, right? You can see product line has null. We could also have a list price. Okay, we could also have class, right, and so on. So we could execute this, and we have this. But just imagine that let's see what product line means. Let's go to the dictionary. Now, my boss has told me that he wants to know some little more details. When we query the database, you see that it is showing us under the product line null, and if we scroll down, you see some records down that shows arrow M and the rest. Now, my boss has asked me that he wants to make an analysis of the list costs or the list price of products that are mountain bikes and so on. Now, we don't know what this M and this arrow means, but he wants us to do an analysis of the product line based on the list price. He wants us to see some relationship. Now, I don't know what M and arrow mean until I go and check the dictionary so that I can properly get the data out so that I can understand what I want to analyze. You know, the reason we are doing these SQL queries is not because we love to query, it's that we want to use it to analyze something in Power BI. So let's say we want to move the data to Excel, we want to move it to Power BI so that we can create visuals, or want to use the data to do something. What we are learning here is to query the data and able to use that data to do something a lot more. Because data sitting on a database doesn't help you except you produce value from it. The reason we are doing all the things we are doing is to produce value so that we can be able to analyze the data properly. Good. Now, list price means money. It means the selling price. Let's see products line. So there's some products that are called product line, and let's know what it means. Okay, some products are named arrow for road, M for mountain, T for touring, S for standard. And my boss has asked me to do some analysis, and he wants to know product line based on the way they are categorized. Okay, and we see that arrow is for road, and then I can't submit this report to my boss showing M and arrow and the rest. It doesn't really make sense. Good. So because I want to rename, I want to rename the things. Rather than having arrow here, I want to have road. Rather than having M here, I want to have mountain. So I'll do something very interesting so that I can name things right here. So we'll introduce what we call the simple case statement. There's a complex one, but let's start with a simple one. Okay. Now, how do we go about it? We're going to use the same statement. I'm going to show you in our documents where that is coming from so we can understand the logic. So go to the PowerPoint and we go straight to case statement. Okay. All right. In a moment. So we go straight to the case statement so we can understand the logic. So yesterday we did multiple tables. So today we want to do some advanced queries. And now we are talking about case statement. So the case statement goes through conditions and returns a value when the first condition is met. So it works like an if then else. So what it means is this. Now, it means that if there are values that already exist and you have, let's say, conditions, whenever you find arrow, make it road. Whenever you find W, make it window. If your database have conditions and you want to say, if these conditions are met, do this. That's why you introduce what we call the case statement. All right, it's pretty much like an if, then else statement. And there's two types, which is the case statement as simple and complex. We're going to use an example of the simple case statement now. Okay. All right. Now we're interested in. Give me a moment. So we're interested to rename the product line. Now, the product line has some values that represent arrow, M, T, and S. So let's just copy it. Give me a moment. Let's just copy it and bring it right here. Good. Right, so I put a comment so that it doesn't affect the query. So I've been asked by my boss to say, rather than having product line with arrow and the rest, of course there's also null in it, I want to create a case. This is simple case. In the case of product line, listen, the argument works this way. Look at the way the argument works. In select case, but of course, I'm interested in a particular column, which is product line. So I put in the product line. I'm saying, when something, then do this. When this, do this. Else, results, and end. Now, this case statement will start with the case and end. So let's go over it. So I'm saying, in the case, I put a comma here. In the case, when, now I'm dealing with a particular column where we find arrow. Okay, when arrow, you put the arrow in quotes. Then, put this in quotes, road. Again, I say when. So what other value do we have right there? When. And. Then. Mountain. When. T. Then. Touring. When. S. Then. Standard. But you cannot end here until you say now notice that we have null, we have arrow. In that particular product line, we have arrow, we have null, we have M, we have T. We've created the case for arrow, for M, for T, for S. It's exhaustive. But we also have null. But I'm really not interested in any other thing. I can now say else. Now, else means whatever thing happens, if for example there is W, but I'm not interested in W. If there is null, I'm not interested in null. I can now say else. Turn it to an empty space. And I write end. End as. Okay, so let me explain to you this so that you don't get worried. I could put any value here. I could just say else, no value. I could do anything I want. Or else, empty. Anything that I want to write is my option, because I want to treat for those spaces that have null. So I can decide to do anything. I can say, where else, apart from this 4 condition, any other condition you see else, put empty. So I can now write and as. So what this means is that I've created a new case for product line, and I need to give that product line that I've created a name, because it cannot take this product line. I want to give it my own name. I can just write new product line, such that the original product line will exist, but the new product line that I've created through this would exist. All right. So I've written the query. Let me read it again. I've asked that I want to take away this and this. I've asked that please select product ID, list price, standard cost, product line, list price, class. I've said in the case of class, in the case of product line, let me take away this class so we don't need it. In the case of product line, which is a column, when you find arrow, then road. When you find M, then mountain. When you find T, then touring. When you find S, then standard. So I could execute this and we'll get a result. Oops, we are having so many errors. Give me a moment. So let's see when we are having some errors. Just hold on. Let's see where we add an error. Let's highlight again and do. Okay, we made a mistake. We didn't highlight some parts, so that's why we're having errors. Okay, so you could see right here, this is the new column that I have created. You will notice automatically everywhere you find null, because I've said else. Any other thing apart from these 3, please make it empty. And you could see every other place will now be written. Anywhere you find arrow, anywhere you find arrow, you will now find road. Anywhere you find this, you find this. So we use the simple case statement to create conditions. To say in a particular column, we use a simple case statement to create conditions. To say in anywhere you find a particular value, please rewrite it this way in that particular column. In that particular column. Okay, we'll do an advanced one, but maybe we could take another example. Okay, so let's do another example. Do you guys understand this?
Yes, sir.
Good. So the simple case statement helps you to rewrite things in a particular column the way you want it. But of course, the list, if the list is exhaustive, so we want to have condition for arrow empty. Yeah, go on.
I'm sorry, it was my phone. I did not understand. I wanted to speak up.
What don't you understand?
From this Wenty, then touring, those side, I'm lost.
Okay. You remember that you write select, product ID, list price, and the rest, and you say case.
Yes, sir.
Case. So this is the only thing that is different from what you know before. So we're saying in the case. So I'm saying there's something we want to do. Our boss has told us. Our boss has told us that let's do some analysis about our product line. But now we cannot take arrow and run to our boss and say arrow. Arrow, what does arrow mean? So in our attempt to create a query to know what it means, is that we want to rewrite the database in our own way, so that whenever we find arrow, we can change it to road, so that we can be able to do the analysis. Okay, so now we then introduce a new concept called simple case. We're now saying in the case of this particular column called product line. When you find arrow, then replace it with road. How did we get this road? We got it simply by going to the database dictionary and know what it means originally. Okay? And this can be anything you want to analyze. It could be something you want to rewrite. So you could see sometimes, let's say you want to analyze the style, whether the style is for women or men or universal. You can rewrite it to wherever you find W, you put women, wherever you find M, you put men. That could be a way to have understanding of the data you want to analyze. So that instead of you to see arrow and the rest, you're now rewriting it in the way you want to see it. Good.
I understand it now.
All right.
I understand it now.
All right. So this is the case. This is the code. In the case of product line, whenever you find arrow, do this. But you must. This is optional. The reason we use the else is that we're saying if there's any other thing outside of arrow, M, and N, this is the way you can treat it. But if you know that you have listed it exhaustively, you might not need to write else. But for safety, just put else, anything. But you must end it with this, because you want to give this new case statement a column name, and I then wrote the new product line. And then from there, you see this, and then you get a result. Good. All right. Do you guys want another example?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
okay, so let's do another one. With the same, we're going to do another case statement. We're still in a simple one, all right, a simple case. But we're going to do a more complex one. All right, so let's imagine we're going to use the same, let's use human resources as an employee, and let's do it. So let's say we do a select from, let's take human resources as an employee. Let's pick maybe some tables. All right, so let's pick business entity ID. Let's take national ID. Let's take gender. And let's take marital status. Okay. And let's take hire dates. Okay. So let's imagine, let's query this and see how it goes. All right, so let's imagine this, and this is the records. So let's say somebody wants to really write marital status, he doesn't want to put S and M. So I could write, now because I am treating a particular column, notice in this simple case, I'm treating a particular column. All right, let me add one more thing. Let's say, I just want to add one more thing to this. I just want to put date div. I could call this today. That's what I'm. Okay. So we want to put the date div. We want to put year. We want to put start dates. Just hold on. Dates. All right, so get dates minus today's dates minus higher dates. Okay. Okay, do you guys know how to do this? You remember this? Do you guys remember
Yes, sir.
this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, I think this is supposed to be higher dates. What am I doing if you remember?
You want to calculate the years they have spent on the work. So you're
Good.
supposed to put higher date before gets date.
Yes. Just hold on, let me retype this. Get there's T error somewhere. Where's the error coming from? Just give me a moment. Give me a moment, I'm trying to see where the error is coming from. Okay, let's leave this for now. We'll do it in the other one. So let's imagine that our goal is to change the marital status to say case. Okay, because I am trying to treat a particular column, it has only male and married and single. So I'm going to pick that particular column. I'm going to say when there are only two options. Whenever I find M, then married. And when I find S, then single. Now, because I know that there are no other options apart from married and single, I don't necessarily need to write else. If I write it, it will be correct, but there's no other option apart from married and single. Well, maybe if I was doing gender, there are other options than male and female, okay? But in today's world, we hear that there's another option. But in this our own case, there's no other option. Only male or female, or married and single. There might be other options, but this particular database only have two options. So there's nothing. It's not necessary that I write else. Else is way to write if something else exists that I'm not interested in or I'm not conversant with. This is the way you will behave. But right now we don't have it. But you can leave it and say else. Just write. Let it be empty. But you must say end as. You're saying that particular case end as marital status updates. So this is a simple case and we're going to get the result. So you can see simple case, single, married, and so on. So that's how you write a simple case statement. Any question? Any question?
No, sir. No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, it's quite straightforward. So you use these things. Don't worry, most of these things we have been learning, I know you are learning it in bits, but when you're doing your assignment, you see how you need everything put together to solve questions. In fact, I have 2 assignments for you. Any of you who's able to crack this will be on the top of my list. Okay, so I'll encourage you to do it, and of course, for those who will come to the recruitment, who will join the recruitment session, we'll have a one-on-one session, because I really want to know that you know this thing and not that you copied it. All right, so let's move on. So let's do a more complex one. All right, so we're going to use the same example that we used the last time under production of product. Okay, so let's pick this. We're going to do 2 examples and we'll be done. So I want to take away this case so that we can do something new. Of course, you can have more than 1 case statement. Okay, you can have 2 case statements in 1 query. Okay, I could decide to put another case here. So if, for example, it's a situation where you need to write another case, there's nothing wrong in writing a case or more than 1 case. But because I just want to solve 1 simple example, I don't want it to be complex. So let's use another case. Now imagine that, so I want to create this scenario for this complex case. Imagine that your boss or the manager, that your manager has asked that you increase the list price by 10 by the following. It's saying that if the price is between 0 and 500, increase by 20%. Again, it's saying if the price is between 500 and 1,500, it's saying increase by 25%. And if it is greater than 1,500, reduce by 10%. Okay, so this is a lot more complex. So let's query the data. So let's move it up so that I can explain it to you. So this particular business, in the production of product, you know, every product right here in this business has a list price. What a list price means here is that every time they want to sell the product, this is the price they give to customer. So it's pretty much like they have a shelf. In that shelf, they have prices to products. Now, every product has, if you do a join between product and the product name, you find the name of the product. But for now, we're not into joins. We just only dealing with the table. But if, for example, you want to know which product has product ID 1, you will need to join the production of product with production of product culture name, and of course there's a way you get the name of the product. But that's not our goal now. Okay, our goal is to deal with this. Now, somebody is telling us that they want us to increase the prices of our product based on this criteria above. Now, somebody might say this is a complex case. Somebody can say, oh, from the simple case statement that we learned, why didn't I just say case of list price? Case of list price. I mean, that's what we learned just now. Why don't I just orally and say, in the case of the list price, when 0 then 0 times, how do we increase by 20%? Guys, how do we increase by 20%?
It will be 0.2.
By 20%, how do you increase by 20%?
0.2 times 100. Sorry, 0.2 times the amount you want to increase by
No,
that
that's not how
20%.
that's not how to increase. That's how to get the percentage.
I
Can anybody
mean,
help us?
what I mean is, if it's 20%, it will be 0.2 times what you want to increase.
No,
Like if
no,
you
no,
want,
no.
okay.
No, hold on. If I want to increase 100 by 20%, how do I go about it?
But I say you will use 0.2 times 100. If it's 200, you now say 0.2 times 200.
But you will not increase anything now. If I do 100 times 0.2, I only get 20. I have not increased it. I just got 20.
That's 100 plus 20. 100 plus 0.2 times 100.
How to increase it in one way, as in you don't need to do many maths. How to increase 100 by 20%? How do you go about it? Can anybody help us? Anybody?
You will plus the what you get to the 100.
But how can I do it now one by one? As in, I will have to do this now, then I will then say 100 plus 20 is then equals to 120. This is a lot of maths. How do I do it once without doing it step by step?
We can use in.
No. It's not a SQL statement thing. It's about mathematics. How do you increase a number by a percentage? Nobody can help us do that. You guys don't need to pay me. You need to pay me for mathematics that I'm going to teach you. Okay. I'll come back to this. So if I want to increase a number if I want to increase 100 by 20%, it's just simple maths. 100 multiplied by 1.2. You don't know that? Do you guys agree with this?
I'm trying to remember.
If you want to increase 100 by 20%, it will give you 120. But you don't need to, you cannot be doing maths that way. You can just say 100 times 1.2. That equals to 120.
I can remember that one is constant.
Is this the first time you have seen this, guys?
No, like the one always is always constant. I think I can remember.
Okay, so let me leave that. So if I have to do, based on what my boss has asked me to do, he's asking me to increase any price in the price list on the database that is between 0 to 500, that I should increase it by 20%. So what he's telling me that I need to do this thing one by one, times 1.2. So I then need to do when again. I put another comma. Sorry, there's no comma here. I put when it is 1, then 1 multiplied by 1.2. How long will I do this? Will I do 1 to 500?
No, sir.
Hello?
No, sir.
Can I continuously do this till I do from 0 to 500 before I do from 501 to 1,500? Can I do this one by one?
No, sir.
You said no?
Yeah, that would be
Okay.
too much.
That'll be too much. So for you to, for the reason why this is different from the simple case is that in this particular situation, I'm not supposed to do it this way. Okay? I'm not supposed to write a list price. I'm not supposed to put the list price in the case. I won't write anything. Okay, look at the first simple case statement. I say, in the case of marital status, because I was dealing with one column that has one point of reference. But in the complex case statement, I'm dealing with a range of values and I cannot pinpoint every number between 0 and 500. So for me to solve this problem, I'll write in a case when list price between 0 and 500, then do you guys understand this?
Yes, sir.
Then list price hold up please. The list price multiplied by 1.2 because I'm increasing by 20%. So read it, select these items. In the case when list price is between 0 and 500, then do this. Look whether this next statement is true. When list price is less than and equals to 500, 1,500, then list price, I think I have list price times 1.25. Does anybody not understand this? This second line? Does anybody have problem with this second line? Please, you guys should speak back to me. Hello?
No.
I don't have problem with it.
Not at all, sir.
It
I can
makes
wait,
logical
sir.
sense for this one, right? Because when I said less than or equals to 1.5, it will 1.5 up to 501. And between this, so this will be the first condition taken. Second condition, this will not conflict with this one. Because it will be going less than until it gets to 501. Because this first condition will have played out first before this condition. And this condition can never get to 500, even though the word is less than or equal to. So it's going to be 1,500, 1,499, 1,498, up until 501. If it wants to move to 500, this first condition must have already taken that space. Good. So the third condition, when list price is less than and equal to, no, is greater than 1.5, then list price, what will I multiply it by this time? They say I should reduce it by 10%. Can anybody help us? Can anybody help us? How many of you studied science subjects here? You need to help us. How do we reduce it? How do you reduce it?
That should be 100% minus 10%, 90%, and that would be 0.90.
Good, 0.9 is a reduction. Okay, right? So we have done what we need to do. So we can now write, oh, where's the from? Good. So we can now write and as. The reason I'm not putting else is that there's no other number that is possible. All right, well, 0 to 500, less than 500, greater than 1.5, there's no other number that is possible in this range, so I don't care about else. So I can just write n as new price. So the boss has asked me to increase the price based on these conditions, and I've used the complex case statements to do it. Oops, sorry, I didn't highlight everything. Good. So you guys could see that all the prices have been changed, although the prices that are 0 still remain 0 because you cannot increase 0, but every other price will be increased. Good. So you could see this price is increased or reduced as the case may be. These prices are increased or reduced as the case may be. So that's how to use a case statement to write or rewrite a thing. Of course, the case statement can be a lot more longer depending on the condition. Somebody can say, in the case where somebody's age, please note this, you might write somebody's age on a new column here. Okay, I think we could do that, but you guys will help me. You guys will all write the case statement but when the person's age is above 40, recommend SAC. When the person's, so I'm going to give that as a task to you guys to do here. Right, I'm going to write that, you guys are going to do it, and I need submission. Good. All right, so it's so simple. So I'm going to give you guys a task, and we'll drop it there. So, recommend staff for SAC based on the their age. If age is above 40, SAC. Above 45, SAC. Age below 45, keep. Okay, so I want you to write this, recommend this on your database. So where will you go to do this assignment, class? Where will you go to do this assignment? Somebody's going to do this for us. Where are you going to do this assignment? Where are you going to reference to solve this problem?
My resource on it, please.
Good. Why?
That's where you find the age of the
Okay.
employees.
All right, so I'm going to add one more thing. Write the name, the first name, and last last name of the employees. All right, so I'll leave this for you guys as a task. I'll be here. I'll wait for everybody to solve the problem. I'm done, but you guys must solve this problem before we leave. I'm going to drop the question on the chart because everybody, you guys need to work to solve this problem together. So who's going to help us? So Juliet, can you share your screen? Or Zenab? Or who's the guy that spoke just now? Who's the guy that spoke just now?
I did, sir. I did.
Okay, open up your screen and you share. And let's solve the problem. I'm going to stop recording now.
I'm not with my laptop. Hello?
Okay, who is on his laptop?